Hey everybody, how you doing? Let's look at our master spreadsheet. You go into the All Aspects of EDCs in the Fish Data folder, scroll down to Gambusia Data Spreadsheets, click on the most recent one, and go ahead and download it, because it takes forever if you're looking at it on the OneDrive. Now, if you're measuring and you know other people are working on the spreadsheet at the same time, then you do have to have it on the OneDrive. So let me see if I can open this up for you. And you can see it opened up to a page here that has a name, a date, time in and time out. Let me put this one back over there because this one's on the desktop. Okay, and so if you look, this is actually Brian's. Right here. It says Brian on the bottom. And so for every person, we want you again to do redundancy. So the date, the time in, your time out, it's set to automatically calculate the sums from here. This is set up as a, if you right click and go to Format Cells, it's going to tell you that this column is, I'm sorry, it's not working right now. But it's set up so that it's automatically calculating, or it's supposed to be automatically calculating for you. But I also wanted to show you the master spreadsheet and the acronyms. So our master spreadsheet, let me move to the top of it here. We're at over 5,000 fish. The first column is specimen number. That's a unique number given to each Gambusia. The acronym is the location, the acronym for the location. This is the location written out. Then we have a few columns that separate, kind of put the data together in different groups. So the acronym is the most granular set of data. We also have some different locations that might have more than one spot, more than one precise location within them. That's what we're doing on this sheet. We're doing a seasonal wet dry, the type of location, the date collected, the date imaged, the initials of the person collecting, and you can see they aren't there now because we didn't start that until later on. Then you identify the sex, the date measured, and then over here it's the measurements themselves of the 4:6 anal fin ratio. And you can see if you click on this that it's a calculation taking this number, 0.523, and dividing it by that number to give you your anal fin ratio. We're also need a measurer's initials and comments. So the intensities are between 1 and 1.19, we're calling mild. Between 1.19 and 1.34 moderate, and above 1.34 extreme. And then in this column where it says measures initials, obviously those are your initials, but in the comments we need to be adding things like, the fins were frayed, or anything that identifies that fish or anything about it uniquely. Let me now move on to the acronyms folder. Oops, sorry about that. So let's go back over here. So that's the master sheet. And again, I can show you, I'll just scroll down and go over to the left here. And you can see the acronyms for our different locations. Subset, so you can see there's Cypress and Phlox, School, New Jersey and Phlox, Calusa and Oriole. So I'll show you a little bit more about these in a few minutes when we go to the acronym sheet. And you can see, here's one that doesn't have a data, and over here it says couldn't measure. This one says third fin broken, fifth fin broken. So we need to keep track of those. And if it's messed up, go ahead and highlight it so that we know that there's something we need to be paying attention to there. Okay? And so as we go down, You can see it's unique for each individual. We're highlighting some of them that says elongated female. We kind of get those by seeing that ratio as well. I think eventually, if we just keep scrolling, lots and lots of data, right? So here's a couple that had a bent anal fin ray. Probably means our data wasn't too good. You can see we didn't get the data to enter into the spreadsheet there. We're down around 3,000 fish now, which is in July of 2020. August, September, October, November, 4,000. January, we're up around 5,000. Here's a block of them that haven't been measured yet. So you have to come back and find this fish and start adding those measurements in. And if we scroll down, you can see again, there seems to be some missing in here, but there's no note to tell us why. So we've got to talk to each other about that and find out what's going on. You can see we made some mistakes here. It says gap in numbers. So we were doing fine until 65.56. And then we went to 66.36. I guess I need to come clean. I'm dyslexic, and that was my mistake. So now we're not totally sequential, but we need to keep the numbers the same so that we can find the fish later. Okay? So again, you can see we've got a lot of fish here yet to measure. It's June 24th of 2021. So let me move you over to the acronym sheet, and this is getting you started to understand the different locations. So AE is Audubon Effluent. This is a golf course lake that contains the effluent, which is the outflow from a wastewater treatment plant, and it's called either reuse or reclaimed water. So any place where it has an E, that means it's effluent from a reuse or reclaimed wastewater treatment facility. And we've identified, you see we have a G4. We've got several golf courses that we do. Audubon is one, and it's golf course 4. Spring Run is another of our golf courses. We have to fill in which golf course number those were. And you can see we've also got one, you can see septic in a lot of locations. If it says septic, it is the community of San Carlos Park, where we've been collecting water from the drainage canals throughout the community. There's a few different strands of the canal. One of them is the Calusa strand. If you look at the most western or lowest flow is Oriole, then it goes to Lee, and then out to Phlox. So you can see Calusa has those 3, as does Cypress. Okay, so those are 2 different strands. They're all listed as septic here, which is San Carlos Park. The only other place that we're getting water from a community with septic is listed here as, it's Cape Royal. And it's called Septic 2. Right here, Cape Royal, Septic 2. So that's a community in Cape Coral. Much older community that has septic tanks but is not getting any reuse water. And we're collecting water from the golf course there. Other stuff on here, Crown Colony is another one of our golf courses. You can see the effluent lake and a regular lake on Crown Colony. Bonita Springs River Park is by name. City of Fort Myers, these are 3 different canal systems in the city of Fort Myers. Manual Creek. We got some samples from Babcock Ranch. Collier Mosquito Control District, these are where we were getting our fish from Collier Mosquito Control. They actually take them from a canal right by one of the golf courses. So it's not from the lake that has the effluent, but it's from a canal that gets watered with reuse. Crew Bird Rookery is again Crew Land Trust. Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary, agricultural canals. You can see those cypress ones again. We've collected along the river at Franklin Lock. We've collected at the FGCU Food Forest, FGCU Outfall. So we have several locations on FGCU that we're looking at. This is another golf course lake that we're not using too much anymore. Then you've got a few that say reuse, community with reuse for irrigation. And those ones include Greendale, Vario, and they're all from a community. Woodbourne is another one. They're all from a community in Cape Coral called Sandoval. And the interesting thing about Sandoval is they don't have a golf course, but they do get wastewater treatment plant reuse or reclaimed water piped to every individual home in the community. And so they're able to use that water to irrigate their lawn. And they're in between, it's a gated community, and in between every one of these stretches of homes is a stormwater lake that is where we sample. And that water is similar to what we're getting off the golf courses or something, but it's not quite the same, right? Because the golf course effluent lake actually has the pipe from the reused wastewater treatment facility dumping directly into that lake. Sandoval, the water is coming through a pipe, it gets irrigated, and then whatever ends up in the stormwater canals, groundwater and a mix of rain and everything. So that's interesting, is a little bit of difference. You can see several other different ones called septic. We have several on our own campus. And so that gives you just a little bit of a feel for the different types of locations that we are looking at. QA/QC this is quality analysis, quality control, and we've got lots and lots of people. Let me unhide it for you and show you how many different people have all measured the same fish so that we can find out how we're doing with our data. And in general, what we're finding is when there's problems, they usually arise from data entry. So we lost track of the line and we put it in the wrong place. Not starting with anal fin number 3. Sometimes you'll learn to count back from 10. But you probably also want to take the very first anal fin ray that you see and call that one 3. And we're measuring 3 through 7. The other error that we often have is if the image is not very good. And so that's how we want you to mark on that master sheet. Make a note if you've got a fish an image that doesn't look very good, then mark that on there so that we know we might even want to delete that data. And we are going to have 2 people measuring each fish so that we can check ourselves on how well we're doing it and making sure they all ended up in the right spot on the spreadsheet. So each of you will have a sheet that has your name on it. You can add in your hours here. I want you to make it specific enough. You see how it's saying exactly which fish that he measured and what he did. We will, you put it on this spreadsheet. You're also going to put it on the book downstairs in the lab. And you'd be surprised at how many different times we have to go back and look at that to find out what's going on. So let me show you a couple more things on here. If we go back to the fish data, this folder is anal fin images. And each one here, you'll see the same instruction on the video. Each one of these, if you open it up, will have Gambusia, GB, its number, the date it was collected, and the acronym. So you want to make sure that when you're filling out the spreadsheet and when you're taking these images, that you put the Gambusia number, the date it was collected, as well as the acronym. And at the same time that you're doing that, you also want to fill in your spreadsheet with that same information. Once again, it's been very fortunate that we're doing this redundancy in the different places because we've been able to go back and find, oh, what fish was that, and put it on the spreadsheet. So with so many people in the lab doing so many great things on this research. It's really important.